Dear secondary stage students year 1, welcome to our English program. أعزائي طلبة وطلبات الصف الأول الثانوي، أهلا ومرحبا بكم في حلقة جديدة ومادة اللغة الإنجليزية. Today we are going to start Unit 3, Improving Lives. We are going to study an extract written by Charles Dickens, an extract from David Copperfield. If you know, Charles Dickens is one of the most important writers in the English literature. He is the most famous writer after Shakespeare. And his stories always have a message. He always wants to improve people's lives. He wants the rich to help the poor, and he wants to improve the lives of the poor. So our unit today, Improving Our Lives. Let's start. What are the objectives of our lesson today? By the end of this lesson, we will be able to skim the central idea of an extract from David Copperfield. As I told you, we are going to read an extract from this story, David Copperfield, and we are going to scan for specific information. We are going to learn some new vocab and use them in sentences of your own. Let's start with a question. How do you think we can improve people's life? What can we do to improve people's life? Is there anything we can do to improve people's lives? Here is an idea for you, and you can think of more ideas. We can educate them. To improve people's life, we can educate them. نساعدهم إن هم يتعلموا. We can educate people and teach them. We can find them jobs to earn money. In order to improve people's life, means to make their life better, we can find them jobs. We can help them to find a job and to earn money. Another idea is that we should teach them not to be wasteful with money, so as not to fall in debt. كمان نعلمهم ثقافة in not to waste money, not to waste a lot of money, in order not to fall in debt. علشان ما تتراكمش عليهم الديون, to fall into debt. Okay, so these are some ideas how to improve people's life, and you can think of more ideas. How can we help people to improve their lives? Now watch this video.
People have always told stories. Thousands of years ago, they told stories about dangerous places to hunt, so the people in their community wouldn't go there. Older people told stories about the people who came before them. They couldn't write the stories down, and they didn't want to lose them, so they painted pictures to tell stories. If you put your message into a story, people will remember it because they'll feel an emotional connection to the people and places in the story. They may even decide to do something to help the people in the story, or people like them. They say a picture can tell 1,000 words, but the words in a story can touch 1,000 lives.
So in this video, we have seen that we talk about stories, writing stories, the history of writing stories. People wrote stories on the walls. They can save their stories by writing them on the walls. And the story always have a message. As I told you, Charles Dickens always have a message in his stories. He wanted to say something to the readers. He wanted to give advice to the readers to improve their lives. So let's start by asking some questions about this video. How do people in the past save their stories? How do people manage to save their stories and not to lose them? They draw their stories on walls. They manage to keep these stories by drawing them on walls, like the ancient Egyptians when they write their history on the walls. What must be included in a story? What is the most important thing to be included in a story? Of course, it's the message. Every story must have a message. We must learn a lesson from a story. We must have a message or a moral. إيه الدرس المستفاد من الستوري دي. So we are going to have some definitions of the words which we are going to study today. Community. The word community, we studied it before and we compared it with the word society. If you remember, do you remember this word? Community means the people who live in a place or an area and have common interest. لهم اهتمامات مشتركة, common interest. Culture. What is the word culture? Culture means the beliefs and the traditions of a group of people. زي ما احنا شايفين في البيكتشر كده لهم ستايل معين in their clothes, ستايل معين in celebrating, this is their culture. So the culture, the beliefs and the traditions. What about this word debt? Debt is the money you borrow from someone and you must give it back. If you borrow money from someone, so you fall into debt and you have to pay this money back. We have the verb earn. What's it to earn money? To earn means to get money, to receive money for doing work. So earn, money you receive for doing work. The food bank. The food bank is a place where we collect food to give to others. Of course, it's a charitable organization which collects food to help the poor. Merchant. What is the word merchant? Merchant is a person who buys and sells a lot of goods. So the person who buys and sells is a merchant. Can you find another word which gives the same meaning as a merchant? Yes, very good. Trader. Trader means the same as a merchant, someone who buys and sells. We have the word prison. What is prison? Prison is a place to keep criminals for a period of time as a punishment. So it's a place where we lock the criminals, we put the criminals for a period of time. What about the word rat? As you see in the picture, rat is an animal like a big mouse. And voluntary work. What is voluntary work? Means the job that you do for no money, for free. You do something for free without taking money. So if you are a volunteer, you do a job without taking money for it. And what is youth association? It's a group of young people who do things together. So if there is a youth association for cleaning the neighborhood, for protecting the environment, they are some young people who work together in order to do a job. And usually it's voluntary work. Now we are going to read an extract from David Copperfield. As I told you before, David Copperfield is a story written by Charles Dickens. Let me tell you what happened before this extract starts. Before this, David's father died, and his mother married to another man called Mr. Murdstone. So Mr. Murdstone is David's stepfather. What's the meaning of stepfather? Stepfather means the husband of the mother. طيب, was his stepfather a good person? Did he treat David Copperfield well? No, he was not a good person. He was an unkind person, and we are going to see how he treated him badly. Okay, let's start. David Copperfield. This is Mr. Quinion David. Mr. Murdstone said, "You are going to work for him at Murdstone and Grimby, the bottle merchants in London. You will earn enough money to pay for your food, and I have arranged a place for you to live." شايفين هنا Mr. Murdstone is telling David that he is going to work in a factory. Why? Why did he want him to work? To pay for his food. So Mr. Madraston is a very cruel man. He didn't want to pay for David's food, so he wants him to work in a factory in order to pay for his food. And again, he didn't want him to live with him in the same house, so he arranged a place for him to live. David هنا بيقول لنا بقى his feeling. بيقول لنا I was 10 years old. This is called narration. ده كده في narration، يعني هو بيروي، الراوي بتاعنا بتاع القصة هو ديفيد كوبرفيلد. He narrated, he tells us, he tells the reader that he was 10 years old at that time. How old was he at that time? He was 10 years old. He's very young. He was 10 years old, and I was going to work, and it was hard work. I went to a dirty old house near the river where rats lived under the floor. Of course, he is a young boy, and when he sees rats, he will feel afraid. So he's telling us his feeling. He has to do a hard work and work in a dirty place which is full of rats. There, my job was to wash empty bottles with 3 other boys, and I hated it. One morning, a plump man came to see me with Mr. Quinion. What's a plump? Plump means fat, slightly fat. Ah, Mr. Copperfield, the man said, this is Mr. McWhipper. Mr. Quinion told me, you will be living at his house. And that evening, Mr. McWhipper took me home. His wife, a thin, tired-looking lady, was sitting with a baby. The baby was one of twins, and they had a boy of 4 and a girl of 3. So Mr. McWhipper, whom David went to live with, has a big family. He has a twins, a boy and a girl, so he has a big family. I soon discovered that Mr. McWhipper were poor, and that Mr. McWhipper owed money to several people. Because he's a very poor man and he has a big family, he owed money to a lot of people, means he borrowed money from a lot of people. One morning, police came and took Mr. McWhipper away to prison because of his debts. زي ما قلنا debts اللي هي ديون. I went to see him there the next Sunday. If a man earns 20 pounds a year and spends 19 pounds, he will be happy. But if he spends 20 pounds and a penny, he will be miserable. Means if anyone spends more than he earns, he will be very sad. Miserable means he will be very sad because he will fall in debt and he will be miserable and he will go to prison. Now let's answer some questions about the text. How can you describe Mr. Madraston? First of all, tell me who is Mr. Madraston? From what we have read, who is Mr. Madraston? Mr. Madraston is the stepfather. Do you remember what's a stepfather? Stepfather means the husband of a wife, the husband of the mother. The husband of the mother is called a stepfather. So Mr. Madraston is David's stepfather. How can you describe him? عندنا 4 adjectives هنا. How can we describe Mr. Madraston? Is he kind, cute, gentle, or cruel? زي ما احنا شايفين ال 4 options فيهم 3 similar: kind, cute, gentle. لكن طبعا Mr. Madraston was the opposite. He was cruel person. He was unkind person. Why do we say that he's cruel? Because he made David work while he's very young, he's 10 years old, and because he doesn't want to pay for his money, for his food. He doesn't want to pay money for his food. Question number 2. Why did David Copperfield have to work at this early age? Why do you think David have to work? Why did he have to work at this early age? to pay for his study, to pay for his food, to avoid being alone, to spend his free time. Of course, David had to. Had to means it was necessary. He has no other choice. So it's something very essential. That's his food. He wants to eat. In order to eat, he had to pay for his food. Okay? That's why we say that Mr. Madrasetna is very cruel. He didn't want to pay for his food, and he made him work in order to earn money for his food. Question number 3. The word master is the antonym of. Master is the antonym. What's antonym? اتفقنا ان احنا لازم نعرف كويس قوي الفرق بين antonym و synonym. The word antonym means the opposite meaning, but the synonym is the similar meaning or the same meaning. So we want the opposite, the antonym of the word master. Mister, madam, servant, or service. Of course, master is the owner of the house, for example, but servant is someone who work in the house. So servant is the opposite of master. Question number 4. Debt is the money you have to back. Debt, اتفقنا ان كلمة debt هي the money you borrowed from someone, the money you must ايه بقى؟ take back, pay back, borrow back, or owe back. طبعا دي the money we must pay back. لازم ندفعها، لازم نرجعها لاصحابها. The money you have to pay back. You have to return this money. You have to pay it back to its owner. So what are the verbal collocations? Verbal collocations means verbs that go with a noun. So when we use, for example, do homework, do exercise, do the shopping, this is collocation. We can't say make shopping, we must say do shopping. So here it's a collocation between the word do, the verb do, and the noun shopping or the noun homework. So we have here some verbal collocations, والcollocations دي لازم ناخد بالنا منها كويس. خلينا نشوف مع بعض كده التيبل اللي قدامنا دي. عندنا verb become. ممكن أقول become ill, become happy, become angry. كمان verb break. We can say break the law, break the rules, break someone's heart means to make him sad. What does it mean to break the law? Means to disobey the law or to disobey the rules. Change your opinion or change your mind. It gives the same meaning. Change your mind means change your opinion. Collect. What can we collect? We can collect food, money, stamps. Do طبعا حاجات كتير جدا بتيجي مع do زي ما قلت لكم. do the homework, do the exercise, do the shopping. هنا كمان عندنا do voluntary work وممكن أقول do activity. Earn. The verb earn, we can say earn money or earn a living. Make. We can say make a difference, make a mistake. What about follow? We can say follow the steps, follow the instructions. And the last verb go, we can say go wrong, go mad, go bad. Go mad means gets angry. طيب احنا عندنا هنا طبعا قلنا go wrong وممكن اقول do something wrong. لكن لما بقول make a mistake يبقى شايفين mistake و wrong الاتنين ممكن يكونوا يدوني نفس المعنى. لكن بقول make a mistake وبقول do wrong وممكن اقول something went wrong. فناخد بالنا قوي من الكولوكيشنز لان دي بتبقى موضع سؤال. شوف كده question number 1. choose the correct answer. everything will be okay if you the steps. عايزه اقول لك كله هيبقى تمام لو انت ايه تتبعت الخطوات دي. طيب ايه الفيرب؟ what is the suitable verb here? O the steps, do the steps, break the steps or follow the steps. طبعا انا عايزه هنا اقول يتبع الخطوات فهقول ايه؟ هقول follow the steps. يبقى انا مهم جدا ان انا اختار الفيرب المناسب. the suitable verb for this sentence is follow. to follow the steps زي ما قلنا مثلا follow the rules, follow the law, follow the instructions. okay. The second question, the money he is enough for his small family. The money he، ايه الفيرب بقى اللي هنستخدمه مع money؟ The money he plays, solves, makes, have. Very good. It's make. We say make money. So the money he makes. طبعا في أكتر من كلمة ممكن نستخدمها مع money. ممكن أقول get money، ممكن أقول earn money، ممكن أقول make money، لكن طبعا مش ممكن أقول play أو solve أو have. I voluntarily work whenever I have free time. I voluntarily work. I follow, break, do or owe. طبعا احنا قلنا كلمة work بتاخد ايه؟ بتاخد do، فأقول I do voluntary work. My wife is a big difference in my life. كلمة difference نفتكر كده مع بعض بتاخد ايه الكولوكيشن اللي بيمشي معاها، ايه الفيرب اللي ممكن يمشي مع كلمة difference. My wife's had a big difference in my life, made a big difference in my life, solve a big difference in my life, or played a big difference in my life. Of course it's made لأن احنا بنقول make a difference. Make a difference. So my wife has made a big difference in my life. Now remember that there are some adjectives which we call regular adjectives or ordinary adjective, and there are some other adjectives which we call extreme adjective or strong adjective. For example, here in this unit we have the word miserable. Miserable means very sad. Very sad. طب هل كلمة miserable ينفع أحط قبلها very؟ لا طبعا ما ينفعش لأن هي نفسها معناها very sad. remember that you cannot use very before strong adjectives like miserable because it already means very unhappy. طيب أنا حاطة لكم هنا group of adjectives. We have the word sad. The strong adjective of it is miserable. Now, what is the strong adjective of angry? When I want to say very angry, I can say furious. طيب, again, we can't use the word very in front of furious. يعني ما نقدرش نقول very furious, لكن ممكن أقول very angry. Again, we have the word good. طب لما عايز أقول لحد إن هو very good, ممكن أقول له you are excellent. طب هل ينفع أقول very excellent؟ No, we can't say very excellent. هي excellent معناها very very good. Wonderful. Wonderful. Instead of saying very wonderful, we can say it's amazing. Amazing. Cold. Instead of saying it's cold today, we can say it's freezing. Freezing means very cold. And instead of saying it's hot, we can say it's boiling. So all the extreme adjectives, miserable, furious, exhausted, excellent, amazing, freezing, boiling, we can't use very in front of them. Okay? Let's discuss some of the vocab which are mentioned in this lesson. We have the word owe, borrow, and lend. If I say, I owe Ahmed 1,000 pounds, I owe Ahmed 1,000 pounds, means I borrowed 1,000 pounds from Ahmed. So we can give the same meaning using different verbs. I owe some money to someone, but I borrow money from someone. So I owe Ahmed 1,000 pounds, or I owe 1,000 pounds to Ahmed, but I borrow 1,000 pounds from Ahmed. وده نفس معناها إن أحمد lent me 1,000 pounds. يبقى احنا عندنا هنا 3 verbs ممكن نعبر بيهم عن نفس المعنى اللي احنا عايزين نوصله. We can express the same meaning of the sentence, but with a difference in the structure of the sentence. So I say, I owe Ahmed 1,000 pounds, I borrowed money from Ahmed, or Ahmed lent me some money, or lent some money to me. But the word own is completely different. Own means I have something, it belongs to me. He owns a farm in the countryside, means he has a farm. So the verb own is completely different from owe. I owe money to someone means I borrowed money and I need to give it back. But I own means I have something. Let's have another expression, at the age of, in the age of. What is the difference between at the age of and in the age of? When I say I could swim at the age of 9, at the age, يعني when I was 9, when I was at this age. I'm talking about the age of a person. When he was 9 years old, he could swim. But in the age, let's look at the example. In the age of Muhammad Ali, Egypt was very large empire. Here I'm not talking about the age of Muhammad Ali. I don't talk about how old he was. I'm talking about the era, about the period of time in which Muhammad Ali lived. فهنا أنا بقول في عصر محمد علي، مش بتكلم على age اللي هو العمر. In the age دي معناها في عصر، أما طبعا at the age ده when he was 9 years old. Let's look at the word debt and the word indebted. The word debt is a noun, but indebted is an adjective. Let's put it in a sentence. He fell into debt. He fell into debt. Look at the word indebted. He was indebted heavily because he borrowed a lot of money. He was indebted. What does it mean he was indebted? Means he fell into debts. أنا بدي برضو the same meaning but with different parts of speech. It's very important to know the parts of speech. We know the word debt and we must know the adjective indebted. Look at the word work. The word work can be uncountable and can be countable. When it is uncountable, it's uncountable when it means I have a lot of work, so we say he did much work in the office. هو عمل شغل كتير, he did much work. طيب امتى بقى we can count the word work ونقدر نخليها plural؟ يعني we can say works. امتى نقول كده؟ أقول مثلا students study works of Shakespeare at school. They study works of Shakespeare. Works of Shakespeare means literary works, الأعمال الأدبية بتاعت شكسبير. لو قلت works of art, works of engineering, هنا ممكن أخلي كلمة work countable و it can be works. لكن لما بتكلم على work اللي هو العمل أو الشغل بقول I have much work. I can't put S here, I can't make it plural. It's uncountable. وطبعا the word job is countable. We can say a job, we can say jobs. Tourism helps to find jobs for the youth. Let's look at this sentence. Choose the correct answer. She her success to her parents. What is the correct verb? She owes her success to her parents? ولا she owns her success to her parents? She borrows her success to her parents? She lends her success to her parents. شايفين احنا بناخد كل كلمة منهم نحطها في الجملة ونشوف هتبقى مناسبة ولا لا. Which word is suitable for this sentence? She, her success to her parents. Yes, very good. She owes her success to her parents. معناها هي بتدين بنجاحها, هي مديونة بنجاحها ده لمين؟ لher parents. She owes her success to her parents. لكن طبعا كلمة own means to have or to possess, so it doesn't suit this sentence. Question number 2. Much money will leave you heavily in debt. Owing, owning, borrows, lending. here in this sentence we wanted to say that taking money from other people leaves you in debt. بيخلينا ايه؟ بيخلينا مديونين. فانا الفيرب المناسب هنا هقول ايه؟ هقول owing ولا borrow. طبعا حد ممكن يقول لي borrow، طب ما تمشي borrow ان انا بستلف من الاخرين، بس انا ما اقدرش ابدا الجمله كده بالفيرب محطوط له اس، لازم ابداها بالجيرند، علشان الفيرب لما بنحط له ing اللي هو الجيرند ممكن نخليه subject للجمله. فاقول owing much money. owing much money will leave you in heavy debts. فلما اقول owing much money معناها الاستدانه هتخليك ان انت تبقى in heavy debts. Question number 3. You me the money I need. عندنا كمان the verb owe, own, borrow, lend. Will you me the money I need. أنا هنا بقى بطلب منك إن أنت إيه؟ إن أنت اللي هتسلفني. فهل أقول لك will you owe me the money؟ will you own me the money؟ will you borrow me the money؟ or will you lend me the money؟ طبعا احنا خدنا الفرق بين الفيربس ديت. هقول لك will you lend me the money؟ طبعا أنا هنا بعمل ريكوست، بطلب منك أنت اللي هتسلفني، فهقول لك will you lend me the money؟ لو أنا عايزة أستخدم borrow كان ممكن أقول can I borrow؟ كان ممكن أقول can I borrow some money؟ لكن هنا هقول will you lend me some money. Okay. Now we have finished our lesson. We read the text together. We answered some questions on it, and we have discussed the new vocab. I hope it was useful for you, and I want you to study the vocab carefully and answer a lot of questions, because practice makes perfect. Don't forget that. Practice makes perfect. So try to practice more and more. Until we meet again, I wish you best of luck. Goodbye.